Good evening, friends. Happy Monday to everybody. Happy Monday, happy Monday, happy Monday. Welcome. We are back. I am back. And I have brought a friend. We have the lovely Bridget joining us, and I am trying to find, because you know that I do this, and I'm so sorry. StreamYard is the platform that I use to stream on, and they have made some changes, and everything is different all of a sudden. And I cannot find the thing that I'm looking for, which is where our names come up on the screen.
Oh.
So I do apologize, but any moment now, your name will pop up on the screen, I hope. You know, I've only been using StreamYard for 3 years, so, you know, it may take me a minute. Oh my God. Where is it?
Can't even blame Mercury retrograde.
Right? Yes. Hi, Ellen, and thank you, my friend. So, yes, so I hurt my back about, I don't know, like a couple of weeks ago. I have a bad back from a car accident I had a while ago, long story short. But this one really kind of took me out for a little bit. So I kind of been missing some time. But I'm back, as you can see. And I can't find the label for our names. It has disappeared.
So I'm Bridget.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm like, where is it? Normally there's like a label that comes up with your name, and I'm like, where did it go? Oh my goodness. You'd think I know what I was doing. So this is Bridget. And Bridget, I found on the internet, not like I was looking for someone, but she popped up in my recommended one day. And I just loved her energy, friends. She is beautiful, as you can see, and she has a beautiful spirit. And I appreciated the fact that she spoke about astrology in a way that made sense, right? In a way that I could understand. And I figured, well, if I can understand it, anyone can understand it. And I reached out to Bridget, and we agreed to do a live stream together. And that was last year. And then, I had my problem, and it didn't work out. And Bridget was kind enough when I reached out to her again to agree to come back on. So we're thrilled that she's here. Her link is in the description box below the video, and I will put it into the chat once we get going and more people are here. Please do go show her some love. We'll give her a minute to introduce herself in a second. We are here to talk about the November energies in terms of astrology. She has done a whole lot of work behind the scenes, and in a moment, I'm going to let her take over, and I'm going to be the passenger on this trip. Yay! Thanks everyone for being here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Please don't forget to hit that almighty thumbs up, to keep the algorithm boosting. And take it away, Bridget. Tell us all
amazing.
About
Thanks so much. So I'm Bridget. I have Bridget's Astrology on YouTube, and then Lifetime to Level Up, which is on Facebook. And so I do, I have been obsessed with astrology since I was 8 years old. So I'm 50 this year. So it is my absolute life's passion, but I'm also a wellness coach. So I think that's another reason why we resonate so well, because it is about like us, we are the center of our universe. And, when we're doing our daily lives, the bigger picture is something that I want to bring into our reality. I just saw someone said about Chiron. Rose talked about Chiron. So I use Chiron because I focus on healing our inner child wounds. I use the asteroid Hygeia, which is all about our mental health and well-being, putting in boundaries, safeguards. I also use Lilith because I do love a bit of ladies getting loud and speaking our truths. So, very center focused, and I'm a full-on Scorpio. So I say it how it is. I love the fact that we've got to go into that underworld journey to open those cupboards where we lock things away and deal with stuff so we can let it all go and be our best versions. So that's pretty much me in a nutshell. So you can absolutely find me on, like I said, YouTube and Facebook. And November is a cracker. So
Right.
so yeah. So yeah.
I still can't
Did you
find the
want me to
banner.
just jump straight into November, or did you want to
Well,
say
here's
anything?
what I want to say about November. I mean, it has nothing to do with like astrology, but
Mhm.
just this week alone, right? We're leaving October behind us. We're welcoming November in. It's Halloween, and for anyone who's in the spiritual, you know, practices or spiritual world, it is such a weird time because people have all kinds of opinions of what Halloween means. And of course, we have a new moon happening this week. Of course, in the United States, we have the presidential election that is gearing up. And I mean, oh my gosh, my hat's off to my American followers, because I don't know how you all do it for this long, listening to this kind of constant, a surge of, if you don't vote, the country's going to be over. And if you do vote, the country's going to be over. And it's like this back in Canada, our elections last for like 3 months. I'm pretty sure Australia's, I mean, because we're Commonwealth countries, so we kind of operate in the
Yeah.
same way. So to us, it's like, wow, like that's a lot. That's intense. That's a lot of energy, just out there in the atmosphere. So already it's gearing up to be extra special, right? And then, of course, when you start to, dive into it, look at the astrology of it, and then, the numerology of it, and all of the things, that's when you can see, buckle up. We're in for quite a ride. So, let's
Mm.
just take a moment, say hi to a few folks that are here. Jessica Lynn is in the house. Hi, Jessica. Good to see you. Hi, Ziggy B. Good to see you, my friend. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Rose Blue is here. Rose says she is a Leo sun and moon and a Libra
Nice.
rising. And
Oh,
Rose and I are similar because I am a Leo sun and a Leo rising, and I have an Aquarius moon. So you have
that's
two
so like
double
my
Leos.
son. My son is a double Leo with Aquarius rising, so I
Oh, there you
understand
go.
that energy well.
So I'm in good hands, is what we're saying. Yay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a shite show for sure, Rose. It absolutely is. All right, so Bridget has been kind enough to do like a rundown of the most important sort of things to look forward to in the month of November. And
Mhm.
I'm going to turn the floor over to her. She's going to talk about it. I'm going to interrupt and interject as I do, because I'm old, and as the thoughts come to me, I must acknowledge them or I will lose them. So, Bridget, without further ado, my love, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so on Friday here in Australia at 11:45 p.m. So it's actually still Friday for you, but 7:46 Eastern. We've got the new moon in Scorpio. Now it is extraordinary. So the new moon in Scorpio is ruled by Mars, which is in Cancer, and also co-ruled by Pluto at the last degrees of Capricorn. So we are in that full dark phase of the moon. We are deep within our soul. We are looking at old traumas, especially with Mars in Cancer. We're looking at the masculine influence of our early childhood, which is Cancer, our home environment, our ancestry. So, we might be helping our partners, or anyone with strong Mars energy process things.
Right.
So with Pluto in the last degrees of Capricorn, we're looking at the way we have structured our life, and like this is a complete transformation.
Yeah.
Once Pluto goes into Aquarius, that's from 2008 gone. Right, we're shifting. However, Mars is going to go through its retrograde, and Yeah, we're going to be revisiting
And it's
any issues that you're
like
having
week
now.
1.
Yeah, that's it. Any issues you're having now will be revisited. Mars doesn't leave Cancer until, what is it, April of next year. So, if you are looking at, your daddy issues, or your husband might be having trouble dealing with children, like there's a lot of stuff. So, Scorpio new moon, if we can sit in the energy. All right, so there's a period of time. So the moon moves into Scorpio here at 4:30 a.m. But
I'm
it's
gonna
like,
do this as you talk. This is just something that I love to do
oh,
because
amazing.
this is
Yeah,
how
no,
spirit
that is. Oh,
communicates with me. And
I
look at the
looked at that
card we
card and
got,
went, oh, that's it. That soul's opening up. We have
right?
to dive
All
into
is
the
in
depth.
perfect timing. This is it.
Yes.
It's time to take action now. I will be there to help you every step of the way. This is the Sword of Light Archangel Michael deck.
Oh,
So sorry
look
to
at that.
interrupt you. It just I'm like I'm gonna toss while you talk, and
Yeah.
this is how spirit communicates with me. So let's see how well they match up.
So, how about with that card I offer? This new moon offers you a chance to shed emotional baggage and confront some of the shadow issues coming out. You know, we've got that dark moon, and if you sit and quietly listen, you will then understand what your new moon intentions need to be. Because when you sit in that space and you listen to the things that Mars is going through, and the structures that Pluto is trying to bring down.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, there is the Mars Pluto opposition as well. So we've got destruction of the old. We're having tower moments all over the place. However, it doesn't necessarily have to be it doesn't necessarily have to be an atomic destruction. You can dismantle these towers yourself and
Mm-hmm.
then choose the bricks and experience a foundation that you want to continue. What resonates with you now at your age?
Yeah.
We just live our lives through patterns of behavior that we get taught that are someone else's
Right. Right.
dysfunctional patterns.
Yeah.
And now is the time, especially with this Pluto moving into Aquarius, which is all about freedom.
Mm-hmm.
It is us destroying the old foundations so that we can get freedom.
Right.
So lots
Two
and lots
things
of
that you
lots.
said there, Bridget, that I want
Yep.
to touch on. Number one, totally agree with everything that you said, because I did a reading this morning that's coming out tomorrow, so you guys don't even know what it says, but it basically is exactly what you just said, which is just super interesting to me. And this card that I pulled here, we've got change is coming. When you said the towers all over the place, change is coming.
Yeah.
Now remember, guys, that when we use the term like tower moment, that sometimes that can seem like, oh yikes, I don't know that I like that. The tower is an unexpected change. It doesn't have to be life altering unless we view it from a negative standpoint. If we look at it, or we are able to approach it from a standpoint of, this is an opportunity for me to course correct. And if I take the opportunity to step back and think about it, as Bridget suggested, in that quiet time to get that clarity, when I listen to my heart, what is it that I really want? What is it that I really want to achieve here? What is it that I hope to accomplish? Maybe we realized we weren't attacking this from the right angle in the first place. So this is an opportunity for you to now set your sights again, right? Readjust and go for it. And the other thing that I wanted to mention, and this is just a personal thing. I am not a psychologist. I know it's hard to believe, but I'm not a psychologist. But I am someone who suffers from anxiety panic disorder, as you guys know. And you said something about the energies that were in that first week in terms of like your ancestors. And then you were just speaking now about like behavioral patterns, right? About things that you do and you're not really sure, like, why do I do that? I have been in that mode where I'm trying to figure myself out for, 12 years at this point. Why is it that I have these behavioral patterns? Why is it that I react in this way, et cetera, et cetera? And I had a past life reading done. And when I did that past life reading, the things that were revealed, in a way, the outcome was suddenly I felt that freedom that you are talking about, because I now could stop punishing myself for not having the answers and for doing something wrong, because it was laid out to me in a way that I understood this is a pattern that I have brought forward. Now I need to look at it from a different perspective, right? In other words, I need to look at this through a different lens so that I can shift that blame away from myself and just look at how do I fix this? How do I make this work better for Kelly in this moment, right? So I think that that's really interesting that you said that. I just wanted to point that out. If anyone is in that mode where you are facing that, having to change or wanting to change that, don't do it from a perspective of like, I've done something wrong. This isn't a right or wrong. This is an opportunity for positive change, right? To achieve your goal.
Yeah. Just like on to add, just in, it adds to what you just said. So on that same day, there is a water grand trine. So, so we've got Mars in Cancer, Mercury in Scorpio being the private investigator, and Neptune in Pisces, all forming a grand trine, which is beautiful, harmonious. Things are cognitively working.
Yeah.
So we can see where the Mars stuff has come from, because Mercury's doing that deep dive and Neptune is giving us that spiritual perspective to maybe remove the delusion or fogginess that we've had. Now, at the same time, in the sky right now, we have this beautiful Jupiter. Someone said earlier about Chiron in Aries. So Jupiter in Gemini is sextile Chiron in Aries. We have an awareness. We have a mental awareness we need to do to heal as individuals. There's that Chiron in Aries.
Yeah.
And we've got that Mars opposition Pluto. So this is a massive day. This Friday the 1st is huge, but it does require you being gentle if you're going through something traumatic. And another way that I always say to my people in my Facebook group is try to get like if you're having too much energy in your mind, try to physically get it out, like go for a walk, do some boxing, verbally scream into a pillow. It's, we're doing Louise Hay work. We're trying to release the physical emotions from the body.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of other things you can do to support yourself, but always, if you need help, always reach out to someone that can support you if you're going through it. So
that was literally my reading this morning for this week. Seriously, that was my reading this morning. For anyone that didn't watch it, go read it, because that's basically where it went. That's so interesting. Do you see why I asked Bridget to join us, friends? Isn't she fabulous? Just saying.
Let's move on to something nice now. Oh, not so red. Not they're all good. Oh, sorry. We'll just have a look at this one. Open your heart.
Right? No one is perfect. Stop judging yourself and others and let the love heal this situation. And that love is what you're talking about, right? The love, your friends, the people that support you. Like, we all have support systems around us. Maybe it's your pet. Maybe it's your plants, right? Maybe it's nature. Maybe it's spirit. Maybe it's your creative pursuits, right? Maybe you like to cook, or maybe you like to paint. Maybe you like to journal, whatever it is, right? focus your energies in that direction, because if that's the thing that speaks to you, that's the thing you're going to be willing to accept and to hear, right? And to embrace.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And don't forget to dial down that inner critic. We have an inner observer as well, which is very rational. And,
Mm-hmm.
they can often just calm the inner critic down, self-love,
Right.
That's it.
Absolutely, Rose. The
Cool.
world is waiting for the U.S. To exhale. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So let's move on to something nicer. Mercury moving into Sagittarius. All right. So on in Australia at 6 a.m. on the 3rd, Mercury moves, but for you in the eastern states, it's on the 2nd at 2:18 p.m. Now, Mercury is going to retrograde on the 26th or the 25th for you in Sagittarius. So it doesn't go all the way back to zero. I'm sorry, I haven't looked at what it goes back to, but regardless, Mercury is going to be in Sagittarius for an extended period of time. So we are doing things like, it's coming out of the depths. It's been its private investigator. It's investigated its traumas. It's looked into those dark recesses, and it comes out and it's like, oh, I get it. All right. So Sagittarius is all about our, higher spiritual perspective, our higher education. It's things like religion, the judicial system, justice. So Mercury is coming up and just, the good life,
Yeah.
Now, so we are looking at our spiritual values and beliefs more.
Mm-hmm.
We've just been potentially through a hard time. So we are looking much more optimistically at life and big picture thinking. So, like I said, on the
That sounds
25th, it
very.
is going to go retrograde, but it's
That sounds
beautiful.
positive.
Sagittarius is gorgeous after
Yeah.
Scorpio. So,
That sounds very positive for our friends in the U.S. That sounds very positive. Just in
yes.
terms of, like, I don't know about you, Bridget, but I sit here and I listen to that news and
Mm,
I feel, and it's not just looking at that news and listening to it and thinking, oh, yikes, what that country is going through. But I sit there and say, oh, yikes, what that country is going through, warning, warning, who's next?
mm,
Because I think that what the US doesn't realize, like as a country, is that the rest of the world watches them.
mm.
And there's a big portion of us, especially here in Canada, because we are like literally your next door neighbors, that if it can happen to US, which is supposed to be the most powerful country on the planet, then it can happen to anyone's country. And so there's fear, not just in the US, there's fear for a lot of people in a lot of different places around the globe sort of watching what's about to happen. And I love that you put that energy out the way that you did, and explained that it's going to feel like this sort of like opportunity to sort of like breathe again, and it's going to feel like refreshing. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, like I was saying, it's sort of, for us it's 6:17 a.m. and then that Mars Pluto opposition is exact at 9:26 p.m. So what's that? 15 hours later, after Mercury moves into Sag, we have that exact opposition. Now, this could look like us really looking at this big picture and seeing that the destruction of the old way is necessary,
Yes.
because Mars in Cancer, that is absolutely the nanny state that the world is in right now, with the governments, Pluto in Capricorn,
Yeah.
trying to nanny us into submission, into
Yes.
our needs. Well, this is what we believe your needs are. And,
Yeah.
there's like people, Pluto in Aquarius, the people are going to rise. There is going to be civil unrest. There is going to be, pushback.
Yeah.
So, the opposition is showing also that actually you don't know what we need. And why do you get to dictate to us what we need. So, yeah. Yes, rebuild better foundations. Absolutely, Rose. Absolutely. And this is it. We have to clear the old. In January, the nodes are also moving, so the North Node is in Aries, which is very, let's go forward, let's move. And it's going to go into Pisces, where it's going to be like a breath of, oh my God, okay, actually, maybe we can look at this from a bit of a more of a soulful perspective, or, it could also be, well, let's escape the reality that we've created. Oh my God, we need to, navigate differently. So,
you know what I love? So that sometimes Spirit has a total sense of humor with me. So these are the cards that I just got. As Bridget was just talking there, we've got deception, because I think that a lot of us feel that. Like, are we being hoodwinked or are we not?
yeah.
Like, it's so hard to navigate sometimes, right? We've got the conflict, which you just spoke about, right? The civil unrest. And to the point, I think the deception comes in, like, why are you trying to shut us up? Why is it that it's not okay that we're being heard? Because no matter what the outcome is, we still should feel like we're being heard. Yes? In my opinion, for entertainment purposes only, YouTube, don't take my channel down. And then look at what I got. Professional assistance. When you seek out that support, right? Like-minded people, you go to the people that understand you, that you feel are worthy of your time, whether that be like a place of faith, again, spirit, your friends, your family, whoever it may be, astrology reader, tarot reader, who knows where you get your stuff from. But you surround yourself with that feeling of support and love and understanding, where you can sort through what the next steps are, in a way that is kind and loving, not and embracing, not in a way that separates you from the rest of the crowd, right? I think that's my issue more than anything with what is happening. The time frame that we're in right now is, I feel this like separation, where people feel like they can't say how they feel because of fear.
Yeah. And it's fear of things that are not even real. We're fearful of bots that listen to us and dictate.
Yeah.
People that are unseen, just lurking around the corners there, going, you can't see that.
And that upsets me for people, because as someone who has anxiety panic disorder and who self-isolates, I know what the result of feeling misunderstood could potentially become, where you're like, I'm just going to create this little bubble around myself and just put myself in that bubble and take myself right out of the world, in terms of, I'm not going to let anything upset my life, right? I'm going to tune everyone and everything else out that I don't listen to, because I can't listen to that anymore, right? It's too upsetting, or whatever the case may be. It's very difficult to turn that around, right? And to open yourself back up. I've been in that phase for like a year and a half, 2 years at this point. And my followers, I don't know this is, something that I've shared. I literally self-isolate at home as if we're still in the middle of the pandemic, because that was the only way that I could get through the day, right? Was to just not go out in the big bad world. I can't go out in the big bad world, have gone out in the big bad world, but now I just like, you know what? I just stay at home. It's just easier. I don't have to deal with people. That's why I come to YouTube. Anyway, sorry, I digress. I went off on a tangent.
No, that's totally good, totally fine. So another new flavor of energy we have. So not only we've got Mercury moving on the 3rd for you, but we have on the 2nd for you. On the 3rd, we have Mars entering Leo. Just for a little while. So Mars entering Leo is moving out of his sign of detriment. So he's a little bit of Suki Lala in Cancer. But when he moves into Leo, he's like, oh my God, he's got his microphone back. All right. His hair is fabulous.
Of
He's up
course.
on stage. He's just willing to be, boisterous and flamboyant and be heard, So in Cancer, he was a bit introverted. In Leo, oh, he's out there. All right. So we've got passionate, dramatic, ambitious, confident leadership. We do need to watch a little bit for pride and ego and being a little bit stubborn, but that's fine. Now he does go retrograde on the 7th of December, and then he re-enters Cancer on the 6th of January. So sorry, there's going to be a few hours difference with those because they're the Australian dates. But so when he goes retrograde in the beginning of December, we're gonna, we've been through all this Mars in Cancer and we've been feeling it all, and then we get our confidence back, and then we start to really look at ourselves and see how the effects of our ancestry has affected our pride and ego. We're out there, and then we stop and go, oh wow, isn't that interesting? That experience led me to this experience.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
when Mars goes retrograde, and then we have to look at like I said, the men, the masculine influence, the people that dominated our safety where family and our home is concerned. So, I've already heard quite a few experiences of men really getting in touch with their feelings.
I love
so
that.
and it's so very necessary. I've got 2 men specifically or 3 actually, that are running men's groups where they're bringing them in and going, this old macho, meathead experience is no longer relevant.
Right.
We don't need men that are disconnected from their feelings, or even, like I said, I'm very strong Mars. And I'm looking back at my ancestry and going, wow, yeah, I've been doing this work for like 30 years now, and I'm still finding things every time I look. And,
Right.
Yeah, so.
Interesting. I got hibernation, and the writing on these cards is so tiny. Hibernation and regeneration.
Perfect. Perfect. When Mars goes within, it is time for Mars to rest. Mars is also our exercise god. So, if you have Mars in Cancer, great swimmer. Mars in Leo, someone who's really good at things like gymnastics and flamboyant exercise. But when Mars is retrograde, he's tired. He wants to rest. And so that is perfect.
Well, I'm here to help, friend. I'm like the co-pilot. I love it.
All right. And oh my gosh. Okay. So on the 11th, we have Venus moving into Capricorn. I love this. I love this. All right. So with Venus, I always any planet, I put outfits on them. All right. So Venus, the god of love, beauty, finances, all of those lovely things, how you love. All right, Venus in Capricorn. Oh, look at her right now. Yes.
Right.
She's in Sag right now, and she's very adventurous.
Yeah, make a move is what this says.
Yeah, there we go. All right, so on the 11th, she moves into Capricorn. So if you can imagine, right, so she's come out of Scorpio and she's been all like, oh my God, that was so intense. And then she's moved into Sagittarius, and she's like, oh, all right, I get it. I have this higher awareness of my experience. I'm off on an adventure. She's got her khakis on with her adventure boots, and she's off on a mission. But when she moves into Capricorn, all right, so she's doing a little bit of a scouting expedition right now. So when she moves into Capricorn, she has her clipboard. All right, she has all of her experiences written on her clipboard, and she is starting to implement action. All right, so Saturn, the ruler of that, is in Pisces. So we are trying to implement action to grow our dreams and our subconscious reality. All right, so she's challenging her narrative, which is, oh my God, have we not stopped talking about challenging our narrative? So she's on a mission to build a business. She's restructuring. She is at some point going to meet up with Pluto. Actually, I think they might meet at the beginning of Aquarius. But anyway, so you can expect Venus to be looking at money, processes, terms and conditions, like really structuring her reality effectively. So
that's just
that's
me putting
Venus.
your channel link in. Sorry.
Oh, okay, cool. So yeah, working through limits and fears, building long-term spiritual and emotional foundations. So that's fabulous. Okay.
Love that.
So, all right. So the next one is the big one. All right. So the mid-month, we have the next lunation, which is the full moon. And it is going to be the full moon in Taurus, therefore ruled by Venus. All right. And the sun is in Scorpio, being ruled by Mars. All right. So we've got Mars and Venus doing their thing. So early on the 15th, Saturn goes direct. So Saturn has been the thing that is making us impatient. If you have been struggling to move forward, I put both hands up here.
I mean, every day in my life.
Once Saturn moves forward, we're going to be able to start processing and moving on from all of the lessons of the subconscious that we've been dealing
Love
with.
it.
So Saturn moves at 8:21 in the morning, and then the full moon for you is at 3:28 p.m. So we're looking at personal values, security, finance, and what is really, really important in your life. We have been digging deep through the darkness. And one of the ones that I love about Scorpio is
be the real you.
Oh, there we go.
Right?
In the darkness is where you find the gold and jewels. All right. So this
and
is
look at
that
all
value.
the gold. Look at all the gold around.
Yes. Oh, that is a beautiful card.
Isn't it, though? The message here says, your greatest power comes from being who you truly are. Don't let anyone sway you from expressing your authentic self. And I love that. Hi, Gypsy JJ. What do you mean, Rose? YouTube removed your comment.
Oh, that's a bit yuck for you.
Well, YouTube wouldn't remove a comment in a live chat if that's what you're referring to. That would be a moderator, and I'm pretty sure nobody did that here. So sorry about that. Anyways, go ahead, Bridget. Sorry, love.
No, that's fine. So yeah, that's pretty much. So on that full moon on the 15th, you're really, because we are still in Scorpio season and you are deep within your soul, you are looking at your reality with truthful eyes. Remember, co-ruler Pluto still in Capricorn, like the last degrees of Capricorn. So you are really, really down at those foundational levels of transformation. What are your values? What is actually important to you? All right. All the rest can be burned away. Like if you went through a disaster, like I hope that you don't, if you walk away with your life, that's the most important thing you have, because
100%.
you can always buy new things.
Right.
If you have the people you love and you are healthy, then you are wealthy.
Yeah.
So hello,
100%.
how are you? So that full moon, is absolutely going to put those values in your face, and you will be able to, rebuild from the ground up.
Yeah. Sometimes you need that. What I would refer to that as like a gratitude readjustment.
Yes.
I've said this many times on the channel, and this isn't to talk about Kelly. It's to remind you that these types of things that Bridget is speaking about, these energetic shifts, if you will, these ebbs and flows, can come in many different ways and in many different forms. And for me, and I've said this many times, I was sitting outside on the front porch, and It was about 10 o'clock at night. I love that time of night. It's just quiet. I wasn't sitting out there for any particular reason other than just because I like it. I was looking up at the sky and just, enjoying my moment. And all of a sudden I started to cry, and, the little tears were rolling down my face. And I thought, like, well, what is happening here? And I literally had a light bulb moment, such as what you just explained. And that was, oh my God, I did this to myself. Not in a beat myself up way, but in a realization way that I was able to acknowledge and now take responsibility and then make a plan as to how I'm going to move forward. So it was very empowering. It wasn't like sad, but I suddenly realized that, like, it doesn't have to be this way, right? I am capable of making a change and making progress and moving away from this, not only this place, but this feeling, right? So it was very uplifting, very empowering. It was moving. I didn't sob my heart out outside my house, friends. It was like a 10-minute thing, but it was powerful at the same time. And that put the pep in my step, as I like to say, for a good 3-4 months, where I was just riding high off of that moment, right? The feeling like the weight of that was gone from me allowed me to be able to see clearly for the first time in a really, really long time. And so those moments when that happens, or when that opportunity presents itself where you can have those kinds of powerful moments, they're so important. And I think that we get so caught up and so busy and all that stuff. We kind of push those things to the side and slough them off as they're not significant. And so if you're feeling that, as Bridget is telling us, that this energy is coming towards us near sort of like the third week of November, allow yourself the grace to navigate that. Because if you have something that you could change and it's being handed to you like this, going, okay, then, accept the gratitude and the blessings. Allow yourself to navigate that space, because only good is going to come from it. Nothing bad is going to happen from that moment being presented to you. Only positive things are going to present themselves, right? So why not?
Yeah. I have just a little bit to add, because I write the words. I do like a little caption for the day. And so at that same time of the full moon, we have the sun opposition Uranus. So in the words, I said that the full moon has highlighted some deep values. And if there has been some challenges to your sense of security, it's time to do something about it. Remain open to change, because Uranus will just cattle prod you into action if you continue to resist. So, lucky you're sensible and you can see things playing out, because the more you resist, the more it persists and the harder the lesson is going to be, because Uranus is just going to be going, move. And, Taurus can be quite stubborn, but Uranus is bigger than Taurus. So,
well, the truth in that statement is, and we all know this, right? It's a lot easier to accomplish something when we feel like we're in control of it, when it was our idea, right?
Yeah.
It's another thing entirely when you're like, oh God, I said I would do this thing and now they want me to do this thing and I just don't want to do this thing anymore. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's such a different way of, like, energetically, feeling about it, looking at it, trying to navigate it, as opposed to, oh, you know what I thought of the other day? Ooh, this just came to me. You know what I mean? Like when you embrace it like that, it's a whole different way of navigating it. And speaking from my personal perspective, and I've talked about this many times on the channel too, and I'm just trying to tie this in hopes that, if it's confusing the astrology, if you're not really following it, the point that Bridget and I together, although individually, are trying to make is that, the energy is providing you an opportunity. It's like a weather report, right? You're getting this report in advance, so you know what jacket to wear, what umbrella you need to bring, what kind of shoes you need to have on your person. Do you need to bring a snack? Because are you going to be there for a bit? You know what I mean? It's like a weather report. It's giving you a heads up. It is allowing you time to prepare and to get ready and to be able to navigate it with all of the resources and all of the information that you have at your disposal, as opposed to just driving down the road and, driving into a town that you don't know and trying to figure that out. Not that it can't be done. It can be done. Of course it can be done. But it could be more stressful than it should be, or than it needs to be, right? We all talk about this, this are the tools, right? The tools that we need to help us navigate. It's no different than having a map book or a recipe book or an address book, right? This is just information that helps you go about things in a way that doesn't cause complete chaos in your life.
Navigate better.
All right, that's all. Sorry, I'm off my soapbox once again.
No, that's awesome. You know what? We're in an alignment, Kelly. We are absolutely in agreement and alignment.
Well, I knew
so, ladies and gents,
that I saw
the big one for November is Pluto entering Aquarius. All right. So it has already moved in there twice. So from 2023 through to 2044, we are going to have Pluto in Aquarius. All right. So this looks like transformation in the collective approach. Society, governance, and individuality are going to look differently. And we need to absolutely watch for data privacy, freedom of speech, and civil unrest. So, Aquarius is the waves of technology, loss. Let it go. Yeah. Look at that old ship sailing. Oh, loss and consciousness of lack. Interesting. Fragmented energy.
And so to the point that you just made, we could be feeling that or sensing that, or the news could just be reporting that, I feel. And so how we perceive that information being presented to us is also equally important to how we navigate that, right? Because if it comes in a way of something to be afraid of, then we sort of retreat and embrace ourselves for impact. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, you look back over the last 20 years or 16 years and you can see how much the world has changed. So collectively, the people are going to rise back up, take back their power, So, and don't be afraid to be yourself. Supportive connections. Yeah, I love that.
See, what I think these cards are saying, to your point, is this: that we felt a sense of loss. We feel a sense of loss. And I think that no matter who you are in this moment, and I'm specifically referring to the US elections, we each individually have our threshold for that's it, I'm done, right? And I think a lot of us are there. Not necessarily about specifically what's happening, but just about hearing about what potentially could happen or might happen or should happen, or all of the outlying stuff. Like, just stop. Like, I want to get off the ride already. I think that's where people are feeling, and that's with the fragmented energy, right?
Yeah.
So we feel.
Well, I mean, Aquarius is the sign of energy, so
So we're feeling that loss from like you said about the energy. We're feeling that loss from times gone by when things seemed simpler, because the past only looks great when we're looking in the rearview mirror, right? It doesn't look great while we're there. It only looks great in hindsight when we're like, oh, why can't things go back the way they were? Was it really that great though? Really, was it that great?
That's
because we
right.
can't change what happened then, but we can change what's happening now or could potentially happen in the future. And so we have to go through this period to get to
Mm,
the understanding that we have the power collectively, because we have this astrology report and the weather report, as I spoke about. We're prepared. If we're prepared, then we're ready, right? So
yeah,
we
that's
feel
right.
the loss, we feel the fragmented energy. There is a consciousness of lack, right? Because we're looking at this as like, woe is me, as opposed to looking at what has happened. Look at all of the people that have come forward and shared their stories, and the people that have started support groups. And I mean, look at all those live streams, men for Kamala Harris, and you know this one for Kamala Harris. You know what I mean? Like, look at all the friendships that have been created and the support that has been created because of this feeling of joy and hope and renewal. This is a beautiful
Mm,
thing.
mm,
Take away all of the other stuff. That right there, that injection of joy, that injection of hope. Oh, friend, I needed it. I'm sure that you all did too. And wasn't it
mm,
beautiful to listen, to open up any app that you have, and turn on the news or whatever, and just see people cheering and smiling, and linked arm in arm, and like, it was like you were at a big old pep rally in high school. It was fantastic. When is the last
mm.
time that you listened to like your country's national anthem, for example, and got that tear in your eye, or
Yeah, and felt
that tug
proud,
on your
yeah.
heart, right? And
Mm,
that's the moment that we just went through. And that's what I'm talking about. I think that this period coming up is showing us that there is hope ahead, to be grateful for where we came to, because if we didn't come to that point, we now wouldn't be in the next phase, which is how we move forward in a positive light from there. Do you understand what I'm saying? And um I go back to, I was doing a live one night, and I can't remember what the heck it was about, but I just finished watching the start of the DNC convention, where Kamala Harris officially accepted her nomination. And I watched the choir sing the national anthem. Now, remember, I don't live in the U.S. I live in Canada, and I'm listening to the U.S. national anthem, and it brought a tear to my eye. It was so beautiful and so powerful, and you could literally feel, or at least I did, I felt the energy. And so the point I made was, when I came on live, I said, listen, if you all had a crap day, go listen to that, because it did it for me. It did it for me. It put my pep back in my step. And that's kind of what I'm talking about. It feels like that kind of moment is about to happen, and I'm here for it. I'm totally here for it. I love
yeah.
that. When those moments happen, I love those moments. Can't wait for them.
Mm.
All right.
Well, exactly on top of what you've just said, on the 21st, we have the sun entering Sagittarius, the sun that has come out of those depths into this optimistic and joyous place, but it goes directly into a sextile with Pluto, then like the two of them move within hours. So 6:57 the sun moves, and 7:25 the sun hits that sextile to Pluto, and there is joy, there is transformation, there is awareness, there's a sense of freedom and optimism. So I love that for that 21st. So that's around 2 p.m. on the 21st for you. And it's just an expansive and transformative, and it's okay,
Mhm.
like, yeah. So actually, I did want to say there was one thing. So with astrometeorology, whenever any of the outer planets move, they cause weather issues on Earth. So
Right.
I would just like to heads up for that 19th, because Pluto moving into Aquarius, it's actually a pretty big deal. Aquarius
Okay.
is wind and Pluto is destructive. So I don't know what your weather patterns are like there, but that's just a heads up for when that movement is taking place.
Awesome.
We in Tasmania, where I am, where we get windy, but it's pretty good. The day that Uranus stationed, we had a category 2 cyclone. We
Wow.
don't have that ever,
Yeah. Yeah.
so just, paying attention to those planetary movements is another way. Yeah, tornadoes, there you go. Absolutely. So just
Yeah.
heads up on that one. All right, so we had that, the sun moving into Sag. So the last thing I wanted to talk about was on the 25th. I spoke about it earlier, Mercury moving back, going retrograde into Sagittarius. So as always with a retrograde, especially Mercury, back up your computers, double check your details, terms and conditions, keep your receipts, especially because we're getting into silly season where we're starting to buy gifts. Every year, I'm sure you say, I'm going to start it earlier.
Yeah. Right.
Well, start it earlier. So, yeah, keep your
Right.
receipts. So, we've got Mercury is going to be looking to rethink his beliefs and perspectives, travel disruptions. All right. So, around that 25th, just make sure that, you allow yourself extra time if you have to get somewhere. Right now, I have a feeling of a snowstorm, or I don't know exactly where I'm connecting to, but things like that,
Right.
traffic delays, miscommunication, revisiting old education. So if you're the type of lifelong learner like myself, you could maybe go back to your old textbooks or go back to your old courses that you've done and refresh those details, all right? Because it is about philosophy and higher learning,
Right.
so maybe you want to brush up on your details. And, it's a time to stop and dig deep into your understanding of how and why you are moving forward. So yeah, and then this is very close to December. So if I'm lucky enough to come back on and do December forecast with you, Kelly, I'm sure we can talk about that more. But yeah, I love a good retrograde. It's always a chance to double check the details.
This is planting the seeds, which is kind of just what you were talking about, right? Planting the
That's
seeds.
it. Yeah. Yeah. Go back and have a look at the growth of your seedlings. Right now, like when Mercury moves into Sag, you are planting seeds. The retrograde gives the opportunity to go and have a look see how they're going. Oh, look at that. Another gardening one.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Affirmation for growth is what this card
Yeah.
says.
Yeah. I love that.
You gotta love it
I
when,
love
spirit, you can't make it up. Spirit has a funny way of showing up when it needs to show up. Yes, Rose. I'm not gonna lie. When Bridget said snowstorm, I was like, yep, she's talking to me. Because I live in the Great White North, friends. I mean, for real. When I first moved here to this particular place where I live now, and we've lived here for almost 10 years. We moved here at the sort of like the end of October. And typically we don't get snow till about, depending on where you live in Canada, but typically it's like, middle to the end of November is when you start seeing snow. And the first thing she said to us was, do you have a snowblower? Which some people don't even know what a snowblower is, but it's like a giant machine that removes snow. It's like 12 big burly men with shovels in a machine is what it is. And so she said, do you have a snow machine? And we're like, we're from the city. We don't have we have an electric shovel. Like, no, we don't have a snow. Anyways, she told us that the snow the year prior was as tall as her shed, your garden shed where you store your rakes and so forth. That's how tall the snow was. And I'm like, are you trying to scare me? Like, so we bought a snowblower. It was the best investment ever because 3 times that year we had snow that was taller than our car that we had to like dig ourselves out of. And I was just like, what in the world? So when you said that, I was like, yep. When I was a child, to digress, when I was a child, I was, I think, in grade 7. So I was, what does that make you, like 12, 13, something like that?
Mm-hmm.
My father
Mm-hmm.
and I went snowmobiling, which could be foreign to you. So it's a machine that rides along the snow, right? And it was a group of friends that did this all the time in the winter. And so I went with my dad and a bunch of other like moms and dads and kids, right? And while we were there was a snowstorm, and so we got snowed in there, and we couldn't come home. The highway was closed. It snowed so much that my father thought someone stole his vehicle because we couldn't see it. That's how much snow fell.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah, that's how
no,
much snow.
see, down under here, I've had a few experiences with snow, but nothing like that.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
dear,
yeah.
dear.
So yeah, so what you're telling me is from November 20th, I better start getting my shoveling skills worked on.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, especially those, those outer planetary stations. It's like a magnifying glass. So
Oh,
astrometeorology is
geez.
so fascinating.
Well, anything else that you want to add before we finish
Breakdown
up
of
here, Bridget?
November. Hmm.
What's that?
Oh, I was just saying that was it. That was the breakdown of November.
I totally, totally. I love the way that you presented that. I love the way. I mean, you know how much I appreciate you. Friends, please do go show Bridget some love. Her channel description is in the box under the video where all the information is. I also put it in the chat. She is just lovely, and I really appreciate her time and her. I just like your way, I just like the way
Thank you.
that you are. I love your energy, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And so we thank you
Thank
so
you so
very
much.
much for being here and for hanging out with us and for taking the time to explain it all to the people that don't understand. We appreciate it very much.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
grateful.
just want to add before we go, uh, when people go to your channel, what
Mhm.
do you still do your dailies?
Yeah, yep. So I do a daily breakdown of the astrology. Obviously, like I said, I'm in, Tassie, but just minus it's the night before for you. So yeah,
Right.
I do a daily breakdown, 6 days a week or 5 days a week, and then maybe every second Saturday I do in the Facebook group where I do cards and personal readings
Yeah. So everyone,
as well.
make sure
But
that you
yeah,
go.
every week you find my
Yeah, everyone, make sure that you go check Bridget out. Show her some love, and if you're interested in astrology or looking for that information is there. And when will I be back? I will be back live. Oh, friends, I don't know because I don't have my calendar up and I don't remember. But here's what I do know. My third year anniversary, my third year channel anniversary is quickly approaching. And we have it posted on the
congratulations.
site for next Sunday. And I think I'm going to go with that. I'm not positive though. So as you listen to the videos that are coming out, just make sure if I make an announcement, you guys will know I'll change the date. I think that's the day I'm going to choose though. I don't know what we're going to do, but we're going to do something. 3 years is nothing to sneeze at navigating
Oh,
YouTube. And I'm so grateful for the love and the support. And, it doesn't work without you all. So thank you so much. Anytime you spend with me, I am most appreciative of. It really means the world to me that you choose to spend part of your day with me. And so I thank you and I appreciate you and I love you. And until we see each other again, I wish you many, many blessings. Mwah! Bye, everybody. Bridget, don't go
thank
anywhere,
you.
love.
Yeah.